HQ. Welcome back to another episode of Sunder Katz. Why Sunder? Because we want to focus on something different. And in today's episode, we will be covering Graphic India. And why cats? Because we are the coolest cats in town. And speaking of a cool cat, I've got the man from Truthful Comics and Buy Indie Comic Books Day, Manny. Welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, man.
Pleasure is all ours. And as I said, today's episode is our focus on Graphic India, a publisher that I believe is not getting the love that it truly deserves. They do make quality books. But Manny, you've had a chance to read through. What were some of the findings you found with Graphic India as a publisher?
Man, I've seen some of these books and I've read some of these books before, but through different publishers. And what I think it is because they produce the books in India, but they publish them in the States through other companies. So I've seen the books and they have some like top tier creators working on the books. But you wouldn't know because if you see if somebody says Graphic India, you're like, who are those? But as we talk about the books, you'll see that wow, they have some great books in that line.
Yeah, and I tend to find in the local comic book stores, I have seen some of their books, but they're very, very minuscule. You might get maybe one title a month.
Right.
So very, very rare to get your hands on. But you're right. They have published titles in different companies in the States. And one particular in mind that I can think of was Virgin Comics.
Right.
Headed by, Sir Richard Branson from the Virgin Group. And they were, just heading into the new trails of Richard Branson's mind. He'd do air flights and, record stores and whatnot. And now he's diving into comics, but it was very short-lived. It only ran from 2006 to 2008.
Right.
And this is one of the books that were pushed through Virgin at the time, which brought a lot of creators on board, and a lot of the creators they hired, whether it be artists, inkers, colorists, even editors, printers, were actually from India. So Virgin were smart in a degree of, upskilling talent from different countries, countries of which you probably wouldn't think they would be into comics, but you'd be wrong.
You'd be wrong, yeah.
Yeah. And here he is, Sir Richard Branson holding a copy of Dan Dare from Garth Ennis, which eventually moved on to Dynamite since Virgin's closure.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So we want to jump into the books, but before we do, one thing with Graphic India, they really don't have a website, so you will need to jump into their Facebook page as well as their Twitter page, which they are very operative and very
active.
Active, yes, that's right. So definitely worth a check out. And this book, really, I was surprised with this one. It's called Chakra the Invincible. And it was actually co-created by one and only Stan Lee.
Yep.
So who would have thought that a title based in India would have like the basically the comics chairman as a co-writer, a co-creator. So Manny, just from from a story standpoint, it is an anthology series. It is tailored for kids, but all ages as well. What were your findings with this story, with Chakra the Invincible?
It's a great book, man. They talk. I had read these books before the Chakra the Invincible. I think I got it at a free comic book day a couple years back, and I read it to my boys. And it's great because it's typical cartoon character, all ages character, but they talk about different themes that like climate change. They talk about different like asthma. One of the kids have asthma.
Yes,
they talk about different things that kids go through in life, and they do it in a way that is not preachy. So it's a really cool book, man.
Yes, and I like the fact they also touch with people, kids introducing themselves from different cultures and different backgrounds.
Yep.
I know the centerpiece of the character is based in India, but I love the fact that it doesn't represent who he is. He is obviously of an Indian ancestry, but the story itself is, as you said, it's not it's not preachy, but it's open from kids from all demographics and all ages.
Yeah, and like for example, when they're talking about climate change, when they introduce all these kids from different countries, it actually explains to the reader, which is the kids, how climate change affects every country that each kid is from. And
Yeah.
man, it's very informative. It's really well done.
Yeah, definitely. And would this be a book that you recommend to your boys?
Yes, I read it to my boys for sure.
Very nice. And yeah, and like an anthology book, so it does have a bunch of stories.
Yep.
The title that we picked up was issue number 10, so we didn't really get the chance to see his first appearance in the run, but I'm pretty certain it'll be very, very consistent with what we got in issue number 10.
Yeah.
It's just like at every scene, something happens, right? It's like it wouldn't be an interesting story if nothing happened.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually saw that they have animation based on the character.
Yes.
So I don't know exactly where it airs, but I know I saw
Yeah, I know.
different clips from it.
Yeah, from Disney Plus, but I think it's Disney Plus in the subcontinent of India and the neighboring countries. I'm pretty certain they'd be in Pakistan, Bangladesh.
Okay.
But I tried to have a look myself in my Disney Plus subscription, and it's not there.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. It's like it's something that should be looked at if you for especially for young audiences. And it's great, and it's a great great art. Some artists are different to others, and some look really like anime-ish. And then you've got other creators like we've got an artist here, Brittany Williams, and her art style kind of resembles Powerpuff Girls or the Cartoon Network type art. So definitely one to check out.
Yeah. No, it's really well done, man.
Yeah, definitely. So
I was gonna say my favorite one was the one is he's fighting that's like a sludge beast. It's Chakra versus the sludge beast.
Yeah.
The artist is Anderson Mahansky, so I'm sure he's from India or from some other country. But man, the artwork looks amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong there. The art, I think, overall is amazing. Artist to artist, they really do their own interpretation with the character.
Yeah.
Yes, I know this. Yeah, that's one of the ones I said. It kind of looks like a CGI type animation, not quite CGI, but borderline like Pixar type.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but definitely I like this page that we're looking at right now with the different it was a climate change thing you're talking about.
Right.
It's amazing. It's really well laid out, and definitely one for the kiddies. So definitely something for kids if you are a parent and would like to introduce them to something that is all ages, and that you're going to get a kick out of it as well. Check out Chakra the Invincible.
No doubt.
Yeah, some more nice art here. And moving on to something quite different. This is Sadhu. This book was originally published through Virgin Comics. So I actually had to find the cover that has Graphic India on the front. And if you're wondering what a Sadhu is, it's almost like a witch doctor that has the interpretation of being the healer or the guru. Not quite the guru, but more of someone with a higher power. Guru
Right.
generally was the teacher. This is more like witchcraft and spiritual type stuff.
Like a shaman.
Yeah, like a shaman. Yes, that's right. And yes, you can see here it has got Virgin Comics just below the logo.
Okay.
The title. Yeah.
Right.
So this was a Virgin book that we got our hands on to have a look at. Definitely, I was blown away by the art.
Yes.
Jeevan Kang is the artist's name, and you're going to hear this name a little bit in this episode because his art is really, really detailed. Cannot really put into words how to explain it. But Manny, just as from an artist standpoint, just looking at this page alone, what does it tell you?
Man, it's crazy because he's very, like you say, he's very detailed, but very stylistic at the same time. The one way I can describe it is like is if you take Jay Lee and you mix
Yeah.
it with like Jay Anacleto, which is it's like it's realistic, but you can tell it's not realistic. It's
Yeah.
very it's a whole different thing. But
Mm.
yeah, he whoever the artist is, he puts a lot of effort on each panel.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yes, the artist
and
is Stephen Kang is the artist's name. So definitely you're going to know this name in a little bit.
yeah, he's
Great art.
yeah, it's amazing art and the coloring, everything just matches up together real nice.
Yeah. I was it's like one of those stories like you really just need to focus, and I do like the fact that we get a little bit of a British presence in this book. They talk about these
Yep.
two brothers being forced to go abroad, and they were forced to move to India because one of the brothers is a troublemaker, the other one is a quiet type, but he's a soldier at heart,
Yep.
and he's known for being strong-willed and someone who can actually go to India to fight for the British Empire. So I kind of like this because it kind of like I know Indian history is sketchy at times, especially in the 15th to the 19th century. I wouldn't really say it would be the best era, but because of imperialism and whatnot with the
Right.
British invasion and that sort of thing. So I do like the fact they're actually touching on the British history a little bit
Yeah.
in Indian folklore. So I like upon reading this, I was actually intrigued. And I definitely I really enjoyed it. I actually liked it more than I thought I would because there is a lot of dialogue going on, but when you listen to or read the dialogue, it's kind of humorous to see an Indian interpretation of British slang, but it's accurate. That's what
Right.
I like about it. It's actually accurate. So I actually really like that.
Yeah.
Using bloody a lot and
Yeah. It's a book that you cannot read in like real quick. It's wordy
no,
as heck.
yeah,
Um,
it is very wordy.
yeah, and so it's crazy because for me I love history, so but I
Yeah,
don't know a lot about that type of history, so I wasn't sure if I was actually reading an accurate depiction of something that happened, or if it was a legend, or if it's just something completely made up.
I think it's completely
So
made up.
so yeah, I'm sure it is because it involves magic and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
but yeah, the story is really cool. It's about sacrificing, having to move to a whole different country, continent, and then just starting over for your family, basically.
Yes,
Leaving his brother behind is when that's the only family he has. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. And I like the fact that he was able to take his family with him.
Right. To a
But
whole different because it's not like you're moving from one state to the other or one county to the other. You're moving to a whole different world. You are a whole different
pretty much,
culture, language. Is
hmm
that's a very drastic change.
and the climate as well. Because one thing
Yeah.
about moving from England to the US, the time zone difference is only about 5 hours.
Right.
But if you are going from from England to India, for example, it's almost like a 12 or 24-hour difference. I don't know the exact time zone difference, but it would be drastic. And it
Yeah.
takes months to get there as well.
It's a cultural shock. It's like an American moving to Japan. The
Mm.
cultures are so different, and it would
Oh yeah,
be difficult. It would be extremely difficult.
yeah, definitely. And I really like this page here, Manny. This is actually a splash page.
Yes,
That was amazing.
I
You
love
actually
that.
you look at the page on the right of the sunset.
Yeah.
And you really wouldn't know that the head would merge with that sunlight until you look at the previous page. But have them like side by side like this,
It looks
it's
amazing.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like the characters' faces as well. Um, almost has like almost like a early 2000s Spawn feel with a
A
face
Spawn. Yes.
with you know, like if we're looking at like, you know, characters like Sam and Twitch and other human characters.
This looks like the Dwayne Turner era of Spawn.
Mm,
When
yeah,
Capullo left and they brought in Dwayne Turner, that's kind of like his style. It's
yeah,
cartoony, but very detailed at the same time.
yeah, and realistic. So somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Just love the eyes, especially of the dude with the ball cap. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing.
And with the bowler hat too. That's
Yeah, the
funny.
bowler hat. Yeah, but I actually thought this was a really good book. You know, it's not something you can just read in 5 minutes.
Nah.
It would be amazing as a TV series, though.
Yes. Yes, it
You know,
would.
like a BBC First or a, HBO or even Netflix,
Yes,
Amazon.
because
Please,
they,
just
they
like
can
someone
actually
do it.
they can take their time explaining, and showing you.
Yeah, yeah, and the character's relatable as well.
Right.
He seems like a good man, you know, like a family man.
Yeah.
Um, and I really like the interpretation they have. So definitely worth a check out. So and like I say, right, these books may not grab your attention in the local comic book store. Just because it doesn't mean it's not good. That's my
Exactly.
point. Yes. Okay, moving on. We've got Avatar X by industry legend Grant Morrison. If anyone's never heard of him, you are not a comic book fan. But Manny, I was saying to you earlier, when I picked this book up, I actually thought it was an image book. And you got to
Right.
forgive me for that because it is a book that you just look at the cover and think, wow, okay, this looks like a science fiction book. I'm into science fiction. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm grabbing this and I'm picking this up. And Jeevan Kang, the same gentleman that drew Sadhu, actually illustrated Avatar X. So this is the thing I really wanted to grab your attention with. And look at this style of art here.
Phew. Yeah.
It's a
That.
big change, right?
Yes. When you just said that, I did not realize it was the same artist.
I had to double take. I had to go, hold on a sec.
That's crazy.
Yes. So Avatar X is a science fiction book. As I said, it is written by Grant Morrison, and
Right.
Avatar X is risen from his massive slumber. And
Right.
the climatic scene in this book really got me, Manny. If you just read until like it's an easy read,
Yeah. It is.
but I love the relationship between Avatar X and his home space station or whatever you call it. It seems like Siri with an attitude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
you know, kind of like
Yeah.
bossing you around, you know, or Siri on a bad day,
Right. Right.
or Alexa on a bad day.
like
Um,
the like Lando Calrissian's robot. I don't know. I can't remember her name, but
oh yeah, yeah, very cynical and sarcastic.
yep.
You
Yep.
got to sleep all day. But no, like to be honest with you, this is almost like art porn when you look at it. It's got
Yeah.
that Jack Kirby feel when you look at his galactic stuff, but
Yes.
it's very fine, very clean. But Manny, from an artist standpoint, what drew your attention to this?
It. I love that because it reminds me. The artwork reminds me of Aaron Lopresti. He was an artist that was on Justice League International when the New 52
Yes,
came out.
yes.
That's his man. And his style. I know he's in a lot of controversy now because of the whole comics gay thing or whatever. But I have his whole run on Justice League International, and the style is very similar, and the colors They pull
Yes.
you in. It's just I'm telling you, man, it's high quality work all the way around. Is these books is crazy that they're not more popular than I think. I think they should be
Yeah.
more popular because everything is very well done. They didn't skim on anything.
No, definitely. And I think this is probably the comic book character that I, God for wish, had an action figure.
Oh my God, yes,
Imagine having an action figure that looked like that.
man. If
Oh,
that I would when I if I was I was 14, 15. I would have gotten that for sure.
yeah.
Uh, and
Even a
for those, I actually,
23-year-old, I would definitely get that for sure.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, toy
Yeah.
collectors and action figure collectors. I mean, I can't say
Yeah.
too much because I have a whole collection, but
Yes.
yeah, it is a very striking character design for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And would fit any Fourth World or even in the Infinity Gauntlet saga. Like this character would fit
Yes,
easily.
Guardians of the Galaxy, something like that,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Or even, Jack Kirby's Fourth World. Like, oh my
No
goodness.
doubt, no doubt,
Yeah. Yeah. The costume design is fantastic.
it is.
And just what happens in the end, some spaceship fires upon the Earth, and then he is, sent out to intercept it, and
Yep.
he grabs himself a host, which it's kind of like spoiler alert. I'm really sorry if you guys haven't read it, but it's definitely worth checking out. It's 110% worth checking out. The art style is gorgeous.
It is.
Even in the close-ups of his face, it has that clean look that, oh, I mean, who other art style would match that? Like, it's insane. Like,
Yeah, the
all the
coloring is
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah, the coloring is absolutely gorgeous,
and
and
it makes me curious to see how powerful he actually is, because
yeah,
we only see him fighting this robot creature, or
mm,
but we don't know because I've never read it before. I haven't read anything else from the character, so I don't know how powerful is that creature, or how
yeah,
powerful is he, because he apparently he got awoken from his slumber, and he's like a earth protector or something like that.
yeah, that's
But
right.
but you don't have any context. You're like, okay, you're strong, you're some sort of protector, but we don't know exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm definitely curious to see, read more about the character and see exactly how powerful he is.
oh, for sure. This is definitely worth picking up.
Yes, sir.
If you can get it as a trade, oh my gosh, do yourself a favor and devour that. Just destroy it, like
Yeah,
with
I
your
mean, look at
eyes.
that. Look at that page. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely is. You've got the space station here that looks gorgeous. The interior art of the space station looks amazing.
Yeah,
And here he is, like God.
yeah, it's crazy. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's cool. I've noticed that, and I'm sure it's because they do it on purpose. A bunch of these characters are blue.
Yeah, I know,
And
right?
I know that but I don't know, but I'm guessing that is because in Hindu culture, their god is blue, or I don't know if
Okay.
they have multiple gods, but I know there's at least one god that is blue and has 6 arms or something like that.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's because of that, and they make these characters, the superpowers, superheroes, blue to
Mm.
relate to that type of god or something like that. But I
Yeah.
noticed that there's a few of them that are blue.
Yeah, and guys, if you're watching the show and if you do know the answer to this, please comment below. We would love to know these sorts of things because, again, we're loving the work. We're loving the context of what we're reading, especially in this book. We would love to know what is what does blue resemble in Indian mythology. I'd love to know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but definitely this book was amazing. Again, I picked it up. I didn't pay a lot for it at the local comic book shop, but I actually thought it was Image, and I was amazed at what I was reading, and was like, okay, I'm in. Like, I like this.
yep,
And moving on, this is the final book we get to talk about today. And this book struck me because this was offered for free through Comixology, and I'm like, yeah, what the heck? I'll pick it up. because look at the cover.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I actually didn't know until like a year later that it was Alex Ross. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those things like you just look at what you've got in front of you and don't really pay too much attention as to who the artist was or what the character is doing. You just mesmerized by the sheer beauty of it. So this book, Ramiyan 3392 AD. This was a book that was originally published through Virgin Comics as well. So if you can pick it up from, if you do have it in your local comic book shop, do grab it. I mean, it is it's an Alex Ross masterpiece. I have to admit.
Yeah.
But the interiors, Manny. I mean, look at this title page. Like you get something that looks like it just came out of like you get those intros of movies that just kind of tell you what you're gonna see moving forward, and you get like a little bit of traditional art here.
Yeah.
Like it looks amazing.
In the old ages, like that intro.
Yeah, it's just got like like damn, like please just give us something. Good golly. And here we see the title character Ramiyan, him and his brothers. They're all like preparing themselves to be future soldiers and warriors, and
right.
And one of them happens to be blue as well.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, there's no real knowledge as to why, and he just fits in like he's just one of the brothers. The only people that really know he's blue is us.
That's exactly right. And you read it, and I was expecting as I was reading, they're gonna acknowledge that he's blue. They gotta acknowledge that he's blue, and nobody did. It's like, okay, yeah, he's blue, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, well, so what? He's, he might be the brother with blonde hair versus brunette. You know what
exactly.
I mean? He's still a brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love the banter between the boys as well.
Right.
You've got 3 boys, right? So you must hear some form of banter.
Oh God, yes.
Who the strongest is?
Yeah.
I just loved it. It's just but I mean, look at the art though, Manny.
Man, yeah.
What would you compare this art style to?
Man, look, it's crazy because it's very sketchy. But at the same time, it's not. Oh man, how can I explain this? It's sketchy, but not in a bad way. It's sketchy, but but the artist knows exactly how he wants to throw those lines. It's almost like Jim Lee and Michael Turner on acid or something like that. Because it's very detailed, but it's very almost chaotic. It's like you see all these lines and you're like, wow, but everything is well placed, and everything is deliberate. It's not like just throwing lines left and right. It's very deliberate.
Yeah.
And the coloring ties it all together. But man, I love this artwork. Seriously, I love this artwork.
Same.
This is something that I see it and I would imagine being published through Top Cow or Aspen. You know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's the type of style.
So the artist name is Abhishek Singh. I think Abhishek Singh should be given more jobs.
God, yes.
More commission or more work, in India or outside of India, because his art style is amazing. I mean,
it is.
He almost has a Mobius style. And Mobius, but when you look at a scene of his, he'll have like bridges coming forth like this in the screen. You just have like a frame, and then you just have like a bridge dividing. Like seen in like Blade Runner. Like his art style influenced the layout of the original Blade Runner movie. Stuff like that. It's absolutely amazing, and it has a kind of like almost an Aquaman type feel to it with the costumes.
Yes, and the technology.
Like threads, and the technology, and oh my goodness.
And you can see something that not many artists can nail when they're drawing, illustrating. That this artist does well is the scope. He backs the camera in a sense, and you can see the landscape. You can see the different perspectives, sizes,
Mm.
architecture. And not every artist can pull that off, and this artist does it to perfection.
Yes. And one thing he does too, even though the color is basically a very plain color, like in some scenes, the screen's like a plain blue in the background, but you can
Hmm.
see the landscape in the background, but they don't really need to color it.
Right.
But it still looks great. It looks as if though it's either foggy or there's like sun, like there's too much lighting. Um,
Yep.
it just looks amazing, and seriously, like especially in this scene here with the blue, just in the
Yep.
top panel, looks absolutely amazing, and it's still very very detailed, but the coloring is almost just the one contrast of blue, except for like the lighting in the like what's that, a duck shaped submarine or whatever you call it. Even as silly as it may sound, if it were like pitched to you to draw, the delivery of it though looks
It's
so
crazy.
so damn amazing. Looks
It's
so damn
crazy.
amazing, yeah. And look at the detail in the crowd. Like I would feel sorry for the Inca if they had to draw.
And you know what? It's funny you say that. I think it's the same if the artist does all, like the penciling and the inking, because I need to actually research that, because if there's an inker, he was, yeah, cussing this penciler out. I guarantee.
Yeah. No, to be honest, I think the artist did both because
Yeah, yeah, it has to.
it does look sketchy,
Yes.
but I don't know. There's just something about the delivery of it. It's just forgivable. Like
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, like definitely. Oh my gosh, I have no words.
Because and the whole point is some people rush artwork sometimes, and they make it sketchy because they're trying to do it fast.
Yes,
This artist does it because he wants to do it like that.
yes.
And there's a difference.
Mhm.
So you can tell that, and it's easy to find out because you can see the like the consistency throughout the whole book. It's not like he started very detailed and then the deadline was reaching, so he was trying to hurry. No, it's the consistency throughout the book.
Yes, that's right. Like no pages were more rushed than others. In
Nah.
we were looking at that, and like the scene when they Ramayan and his brother, excuse me, join an army,
Right.
obviously fulfilling their duty of being growing up. And I just loved it how they blended in with the I guess the everyday folk
Yeah.
and still be respectful and still be one of the boys, but at the same time they were fulfilling their duties. And and you see the scene when they meet their foes. And I mean those panels that we see is enough to give you nightmares.
Yeah.
This
Those.
scene here in particular.
Yeah, that's the scene with the boars. Oh my god, I love that
Yeah,
page.
exactly. Like look at that. Look at that. I mean, like seriously, guys,
That
this
is
is
terrifying.
yeah. And you know what, Manny? In my honest opinion, I would actually be happy. And like, I love Alex Ross. Don't get me wrong. I love having him as as a cover artist.
Right.
I would actually like to see Abhishek Singh as the actual cover artist of this book as well.
Yeah.
Would you?
I would. Yeah. He would have done an amazing job. I bet you.
Yeah.
I think they probably reach out to Alex Ross because of it is Alex Ross.
Yeah, and it is
Um.
a new publisher. I get that. Look, I'm not saying that's not that's not the right move to make, but
Right.
having Abhishek Singh as an artist would be a good move as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, gosh, like, and there's scenes in this as well. It kind of reminds me of He-Man, how he lifts his sword and it just glows. Like,
Right.
and like seriously, like, how much nerdgasms can you guys give me in one book? Seriously.
Yeah, it's almost like a combination between a musketeer
Yeah.
rapier and the power of the sword of power and a lightsaber.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
then
geekgasm right there.
like seriously, a bit of Aladdin, like oh,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
crazy.
give it to me in all areas, you know, just get all these right hooks. Like
Yeah,
no,
it's
but seriously, guys, if you can pick that up as a trade, you will not be disappointed.
no, you won't.
Definitely
You
will
won't.
not be disappointed. We just read the first issue, and I got this for free through Comixology, and I was like, wow.
Give me
So,
more.
yeah, give me more. Just like Brittany would say. But definitely, but no, seriously, guys, you know, a publisher like this doesn't should not go amiss. If you can't find it in your local comic book store, especially Ramian 3392 AD, pick it up. Like one, you've got a great artist as a cover, but you've got great interior as well. I know it's not the book you would traditionally read. You might look at it and go, "No, this is not for me." But until you actually turn the page, have a glimpse, and actually you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and even if your local comic shop don't have it, you can find it on Comixology. I'm pretty sure.
oh,
And
100%. Yeah.
yeah, and I found a website here that have the books. So I'm gonna we're gonna put it on the show notes so you guys
Oh,
can
excellent.
buy the books
Yeah,
because
for
yeah
sure.
they deserve your support for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a publisher that should not be missed. And I'm happy to see a publisher from a different country bring books to the greater audience. You know, yes, I mean some of it is, you know, based on Indian history, but if you can look beyond that and enjoy it for the content of what it is, I
Right,
mean, we're getting movies now, you know, based in the Middle East, based in
right,
old England, old Europe. I mean, you know, North and South America in the pre colonization. Like, definitely, this is a book for you. Like, if you're interested into that stuff and can look beyond where it was from and enjoy it for the contents of the characters and the story and the adventure. You know, this is
yeah,
part about reading comics, guys. Like, you can't always read something that's based on real life or things that are going wrong in the world. Let's jump back into why we got into comics, escapism,
yeah.
and definitely good art. And I mean, Manny, which was it anything that you read today that really stood out to you that goes, damn, I actually really was into this?
This one last one, Ramayan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely I cannot wait to read more.
Mm.
And the chakra one I had already read it a while ago for to the boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Avatar X and Ramayan, those two books I'm definitely gonna be following for sure.
Yeah. I definitely want to get the trade for both.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think Ramian 3392 AD is one I want to pick up, like just to get the Virgin cover, like just to get that imprint. I just would like
Yeah.
to see it, you know, because it is old now. I think it was like 2006, 2007. So it is an aged book now in terms of when it was originally published, but definitely worth a check out.
Yeah. And also I wanted to point out that the imprint is called Graphic India, and the create most of the creators are Indian, are from India, but it's not like they're shoving it in your face like we're in
Mm,
India. This is India. This is no. It's a sci-fi story. All like
adventure story.
great artwork, and it just happened to be Indian creators. That's it. But
Yeah,
it's not like
exactly.
it's not like you're gonna be seeing India every other place. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Mm.
and about the whole culture thing. People have been loving manga and all this stuff and anime, and that's from Japan. Is and that's all they talk about is Japan culture. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
this is why I love indie comics. Is expanding your horizons.
Exactly. And yeah, definitely should not be glimpsed upon. Believe me, like those two last books that we touched on are gold standard.
Yep.
And I mean, you know, especially Avatar X with the interior art being so beautiful and being something that looks like a Jack Kirby or anyone else who's drawn, you know, the fourth world characters or, you know, Infinity Gauntlet saga and whatnot. Definitely worth checking out. But guys, check out Graphic India. They're a really good publisher. They make really good content.
That's true.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Sunder Katz. And before we go, Sunder Katz.
Yo!
A bit hard without Reno, but join us next time for another episode of Sunder Katz.
No doubt.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along with all of the websites in the Comic Crusaders family. As always, if you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel.